this is a hard question. We're told that a hotel has 80 rooms and it charges the same amount for each occupied room. And the rooms are the only source of revenue. We're told that in September, the average number of rooms occupied per night was 60. So there are 30 days in September. So that means for the entire month, 1,800 rooms were occupied, meaning if we count for each single day, some days, not all the rooms were occupied. Some days all the rooms were occupied, and they all collectively add up to 1,800. Question is, how many nights in September all the rooms were occupied? So this splits into two categories: all rooms occupied, which is what I'm interested in, and then 30 minus X when not all rooms were occupied. Because on all these days when not all rooms are occupied, those are going to be different numbers. Some days maybe 50 are occupied, some days 60. But we'll come to that as we go through the statements. But what we really need is X. So statement 1 says, on the nights when not all the rooms of the hotel were occupied, meaning this category, the average number of rooms occupied was 40. So if that's the average number, if I multiply by the number of days that not all rooms were occupied, that would be the total number of rooms that were occupied on those days. If I add the rooms that were occupied X days where all the rooms were occupied, that would give us another 80X rooms that were occupied for the entire month. And this has to add up to 1,800. And this will give me a value of X, linear equation. Sometimes I'll just solve it when it's easy enough, because sometimes it can come in handy when you're doing the next statement. So X is 15, we have a unique value, 1 is sufficient. 2 says the total revenue for the nights when all of the rooms of the hotel were occupied, which would be the revenue, they don't tell you how many dollars, so it's 80 rooms times the number of days that all rooms were occupied times, let's say the P dollar is the amount charged per night. And they tell you that it's the same one. So that would be the revenue from these days. And they're saying this is twice the revenue when not all the rooms were occupied. So twice not all rooms occupied. I'm just going to leave it in that form, which means that revenue will be P times 40X. And that means that the total revenue for the entire month of September, we know that 1,800 rooms were rented. So 1,800 times P dollar. You'll see the P term will actually drop out. That's the revenue for the entire month of September. That will have two parts: revenue when not all rooms were occupied. We just got that in terms of X. And then we also know the revenue for the days that all the rooms were occupied. It was for X days, and there are 80 rooms that were being occupied every day, and each one is P dollars. So you'll see the P term drops out. Some of you might be able to just write it directly in terms of X is here. So this would be 120X, and you will find that you get X equal to 15. So this is one of the reasons why I calculate again, because in case I made a mistake in translating that relationship, if I get a different number, then I know I need to go back and re-examine my translation and where I may have made a mistake. And in case of that changes the answer. But once it comes out to be the same value, it gives me more assurance that 2 alone is also sufficient. And the answer is D.